All right, everybody, welcome to our latest Live Motocross podcast as we talk all things Birmingham Supercross and look ahead to Seattle with the great man, Jeff Beaver from Whiskey Throttle. Before we welcome him, we'd like to thank our sponsors in Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, and Fuchs Silkaleen for all the incredible support, as without them, none would be possible. Also, massive thanks to the fans for listening to this, as always. It's hugely appreciated. Obviously, welcome to you now, Jeff, mate. How are you? Thanks for joining us. And pretty awesome. You were just on Daniel Blair's Main Event Moto podcast, so congrats on that.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty sick, dude. Fucking Blair's a badass, dude. I was tripped out. I was sitting at work last Saturday, and Blair texted me and he goes, "Hey man, you want to be on my podcast?" And I was like, "Huh? Really?" And he says, "Yeah." And isn't that kind of like having Uncle Rico on Fox NFL Sunday? And for y'all in Australia, if you've never watched Napoleon Dynamite, you'll know the Uncle Rico reference. But yeah, dude, I was stoked, dude. It was a good time. I was on for about a half hour, and he just kind of, wanted to ask about how I got into the business and all that. And, we've had a pretty good rapport since we met, and I've always liked the guy. I remember when him and his brother first started racing, I was stoked on him because they were from Northern California, where I'm from. So hell yeah, Lodi boys. My mom lives in Lodi, and so I was stoked on that. And so shit. I mean, pretty cool, man. I never thought I'd be doing that kind of stuff, filming on the floor, or getting asked to be on Blair's podcast. It was, Duke Gomez was on there today, me, Ryan Hughes, Tutu from Pro Circuit, all in different time slots. But Blair's got a good thing going on, and I support it, dude. I like the guy. He's just damn good for what he does, man.
Yeah, mate, it's awesome. One of the biggest platforms out there, and he's so good. And it was really cool. You could tell he had massive respect for what you do too, mate. Obviously, the filming, he was really interested in how you go about it, just how you grind away, the Supercross, Enduro Cross, all the different things you do, mate. So pretty cool to share your story to the audiences. I think you'll be getting a few more invites too.
Yeah, yeah. I think you'll have me back on, dude. I've got a good line of bullshit, so. I'm sure he'll ask me back, and I'm down for it. Ping supports it, so hey, it's not causing any friction for us, so I'm good.
No, mate, keep it up. Look forward to it. Yeah, great podcast for sure. That one, I'll listen to it now. It's a really quality interview. So encourage all the fans to check that out. And obviously on to Birmingham, mate. You guys had Nate out there filming for Whiskey Throttle. He crushed the content, some really awesome stuff. It came up pretty good. The weather was great. The track was pretty cool. The racing, a lot of mixed opinions on that, but I've personally found it enjoyable. There were some really cool sections they were doing. They had to get a bit creative in certain parts and seeing Chase bust out some rhythms and many other guys. Pretty cool night of racing, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I watched the race Saturday night when I got back. I took the weekend off and went out to the San Juan Islands with my wife, but I watched when I got back, and I fell asleep during the last motos, but I got up and watched them again on Sunday. Caught the last mains, and it was pretty good. It really wasn't an exciting round, other than it was cool to see Chase just get down and not like try to kill himself the last round. He was real smart about it, and I think that was kind of the Sexton that everybody expected, this year, and hopefully he can rinse and repeat and do that the rest of this championship and not let Cooper run away with it. I do want to see Chase win the title, but I'd be stoked for Coop if he won it too.
Yeah, it's shaping up as an awesome battle. And obviously, talking to JT quite a lot about the Triple Crown format. He personally loves it for the fans, the entertainment. What's your take on it too, mate? Because there is mixed opinions on it. Sprinkling a few in a year's a good balance, do you think?
I like it because you get the same amount of racing in the day, but all the qualifying is done before the night show. And what I like is we get 3 gate drops on the night. I mean, the riders will tell you it sucks just because they get no relief. It's a whole different program. And it's pretty hard on them. Like Billy Laninovich, God bless him. He qualified for the first race of the year at Glendale on a Triple Crown. I go, "Hey, genius, you picked a great race to qualify at 42 years old." He just laughed at me like, "Shut up." I mean, his tongue was in the spokes at the end of the day, but I mean, hell, the 16-year-old kids, their tongues were in the spokes too.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Billy's a legend, eh? And obviously, just wanted to get your take on the Deegan situation with him getting arrested. Obviously, you mentioned it on the Blair podcast, and you floated the idea to Deegan that he should get some merch going. And then the next day, he's got some merch coming out. So that's pretty cool, isn't
Oh yeah, he totally listened to me. It was my idea, man. I want my cut. I'm sure he had about 50,000 messages going, dude, you need to make some content, make a shirt, you know. Hey, I don't know what happened, and they put out their podcast today, or their vlog, and it said, we'll talk about it once we fight the case. But me personally, I think he was just goofing off, whipping some donuts, and he got an example made of him by a local cop. Probably saw his name, knew who he was, and you're gonna come down here to the beach, boy. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I have a feeling that that was probably what happened, and he was smart. He didn't pop off or anything. The cop or whoever it was said that he was super respectful, and you know, I talked to or sent Brian a message this morning. He messaged me and I messaged him back and I said, hey, shit, when I was a kid, I was whipping donuts. Shit, I'm 48 years old. I still go out whip donuts in my Chevelle, I do the same shit he got arrested for. So I don't fault him. And all these punks who, oh, he should lose his ride and his sponsor. Shut the fuck up, dude. Every person out here with a ball sack has done that shit, dude. And if you haven't, your wife's got your ball sack, dude. So don't be a dick, dude. That's kind of the way I look at it, dude. It's just goofing off being a kid, dude. Jesus Christ, relax.
Yeah, mate, you forget about that. These riders, they're living in the spotlight and they're not like an average kid of that age doing stupid stuff with, no one knowing about it. It's like everything's out there for the world to see. He's never far from the headlines. And you got to like, he's bringing more eyes to the sport, isn't he? He's capitalizing on the exposure for himself and the series. And it's been, I guess, the latest sort of topic in a season of a lot of dramas. You obviously had the Blair thing, you had the Lawrence brothers and Myrtle. There's been a lot going on, injuries left, right, and center. So it's pretty interesting for the sport off the track this season, too, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the '80s and compare that to like Jeff Matasevich, it wouldn't even have been a blip. It might have been on the back page of Cycle News. Deegan got arrested for doing donuts. Well, how lame is that? It wouldn't even have been a big deal back then. But everybody wants to hype shit up. It's just whatever. That's my thoughts on the whole damn thing.
Yeah, mate, well said. Obviously, you mentioned Sexton. We'll get on to him. He was so impressive. Obviously, that's what he expects from himself. And I guess that's what is expected of him, too, because he's just so good, so talented, just an absolute weapon on a bike. And he usually does finish these seasons strong. So 1-1-2, obviously, just excellent, got solid starts. Even said it's been a while since he had a top ride like that, even though the results haven't been that bad. They're not where he should have been, given the mistakes and the errors and all that, mate. But I guess, do you have Sexton as your favourite, or do you still hold Webber's number one? It's a little bit of a way with Sexton. It's not quite feast or famine because he's getting good podiums and banking points, but Webb just keeps minimising the bad nights, even though he had a bit of a rough one himself. Didn't expect to see him off the podium. But yeah, your take on Sexton, mate. Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got a head of steam on him, and the only thing I wonder is if Jason Anderson's going to come into Seattle and go, "Yeah, you put me in the dirt, dude." Him and Coop put him in the dirt. I can see Anderson going. Neither one of you are finishing this race, you know.
Oh man, definitely had a rough one. Anderson getting taken out twice and then crashing once, despite having really good speed.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the people you could run into, I think the only worst one to go pick a fight with would be Bam Bam. You know, uh, Bam Bam's probably the only person worse to purposely put in the dirt. So I'd give Jason a wide berth in Seattle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I guess you talk about Mookie's ride. Obviously had those two massive spills earlier in the day. Was really banged up, and then just riding was superb. The remarkable powers of recovery and fight for him. It's impressive. He was riding like he didn't look injured whatsoever. He was really pushing the limit. The whoops were good. Really getting through those sections, and he just showed off. Tampa wasn't a one-off. He's got that staying power, and judging by the weather in Seattle, mate, he might have a week off and do some fishing at this point. It's just bucketing down there because you're not far from there at the moment, are you?
No, I'm about let's talk Australia, and I think I'm about 90 kilometers north and of Seattle, and it's just been pissing, dude. It's just been miserable, depressing, wet, cold, sun doesn't exist bullshit for the last 10 days, and it's supposed to rain all the way through. It's like, how the hell are they going to build the track? It almost feels kind of almost like an Oakland deal, but it's not raining as heavy as it did that year in Oakland. And when it rains in Northern California like that, it just gets it. It's either not raining or it's just pissing. And so it was a different situation. They may be able to build the track, but if anybody can do it, it's those Dirtworks dudes. But I don't know. It's going to be an absolute shit show. And I'll tell you what. This this weekend's round of Whiskey Throttle Media may be iPhone exclusive because there's ain't no goddamn way that my Sony camera is going out in that bullshit with a rain cover or not. I'm not risking it. I got a little mini umbrella that everybody makes fun of me for my camera, and I'll gaff tape that shit to my iPhone and keep it dry and go, and it's better than smoking a massive investment in my camera.
Oh, mate, the tools of the trade, you need it. And obviously, yeah, at least with those iPhones, mate, you can certainly still deliver the magic, can't you?
Dude, everything I've posted this week from Whiskey Throttle, except for a couple clips, have all been iPhone clips, dude. I'm still
Crazy,
waiting
isn't
to
it?
get everything from Nate. Yeah, it's amazing, and he's got that new iPhone 16 Pro with the 4K 120. Dude, it's amazing what these iPhones can do. I imagine in another 5 6 years the camera will be obsolete.
Yeah, they're
Once
making
once the
strides.
once the I yeah once the iPhone gets like 160 millimeter zoom lens, dude, it's game over for the cameras.
But there's definitely better shots to be had on your big rig, isn't there? The bigger rig.
Yeah, you get more dynamic range out of it, but for Instagram, who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's absolutely it, mate. It's just consumed and then it's on to the next one these days, isn't it? So it's definitely like, especially with those, post-race ones where they're taking the helmet off and celebrating, it's just perfect for the quick 5, 10 seconds post away, isn't it?
Yeah, I can have it up 10 seconds after I'm done filming it.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. So cool. Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you hopefully out there, mate, because the plan is to be there. I'm sure they'll make it happen, but you look at someone like AP, Barsha, Roxon in those muddy conditions, and obviously AP's with those starts dialed. He's looking good. He's obviously had a bit of a rough start to the season for sure, but watch for him to shine, I guess, with the mudders come into play with every single round from here on out outdoor stadiums, aren't they, mate? So AP, bring on the cowboy.
Yeah, my thoughts go automatically to Barsha. Me and him have been going back and forth for the last couple of days. Did you see that? He tried, he did that little thing where he was wearing AP shirt and signing his stuff. Well, he took on the whole cowboy thing on the track. Did you see him do that rodeo whip and his on the ground on his
Oh
bike
yeah,
after he crashed?
that was classic.
Dude, Nate dialed that shot, dude. I was like, holy shit, and so Bam Bam and I went back and forth about it, and he's all, dude, that was gnarly, and I go, dude, hey, it's been raining up here for 10 days, and it's supposed to rain all the way through, bud. And all he did was reply with that smiling face with the sunglasses on. I was like, Bam Bam's frothing right now at the opportunity for a mud race. I think him and AP have got to be your odds-on favorites. But Chase won in the mud in San Francisco, so Coop's lack of length in his legs is going to be a disadvantage in the mud. So I would think the taller guys like AP and Chase will do good, and then Bam's always been a good mud rider. So I think it's going to be between AP and Bam Bam if we end up in a mudder.
Yeah, it's looking like it definitely won't be a dry race, mate. So yeah, that's always a good sort of leveler and a spoiler of the mud. And I guess you look at Cooper Webb, if that's the case, you'll be extra angry that he only got fourth overall for that one. Some untimely mistakes, not really like him. So to not, take advantage ahead of these potential mudders could be some really bad lost points. Even though he still got the red plate, he rode really well in that last one to get the win. So your take on Webb, mate? It's a tough round for him, but he always comes out swinging. You can never ever count him out, can you?
No, no, he's tougher than a $2 steak, dude. That guy's a badass.
Yeah, mate. He's just so tough to sort of keep down because he just keeps coming, like we've seen. And I believe he won in Seattle last year, if I'm not correct. You were at that race, were you?
Yeah, actually, I got the cork from a champagne bottle sitting in my drawer here in my trailer. I was walking back after filming him spray the crowd. Coop always likes to go douse the crowd with a champagne bottle, and I was walking back. I go, oh, there's the cork, and I grabbed it. I don't know, I'm a dork like that, but yeah, he won last year.
Do you remember any other key takeaways from that one? Obviously, Kitchen, Hampshire, Shimoda were on the podium in the 250 West, and Sexton and Jet Lawrence got second and third in 450. Anything that stood out apart from the Cooper Webb bit of memorabilia?
Levi killed it, but he's not going to be riding it all. But yeah, he was a badass last year. That was pretty impressive what he did last year. And it was a wet track. It rained up to it, and it rained a little bit during, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, you'd take that track at this point, judging by the weather there for sure, mate. You are ready.
Oh,
Give us a bit of a
oh
take
yeah,
on
I got my neoprene rubber boots. I've got waterproof bib overalls. I've got my uh, waterproof hoodie parka. Yeah, I'm dialed. I can go out and play in the mud and the water all day. It's just my equipment, keeping my equipment dry that I'm worried about.
Yeah, mate, you got to protect those investments. And yeah, we'll move on to Roxon. Obviously, had that AC sort of shoulder separation. Pretty impressive effort to soldier on and get the result that he did. But it was a bit of an issue that arose, with betting and stuff going on now. Is that an issue that that wasn't divulged on press day? They had waited till Saturday. So I guess that's not a great look for, if you put money on it, you wouldn't be too happy. But obviously, the news that he was a US citizen now is cool for him, and he's been around a while, hasn't he, mate? So, just your thoughts on the injury and the betting and just his night overall?
Yeah, I don't know how that whole deal went with the betting. I've been working so many hours that I didn't pay attention to anything coming up to the race, and I just haven't had the time. And good on him for becoming an American. I still think he's a douche, but hey, good on him becoming an American. He's just a little less of a douche now. But as far as the betting, I don't think the teams are actually. I don't know. It's weird. There's so many rules that I don't know how to speak intelligently on it. I know we have things that we can't discuss on the betting side of it, because we are inside the industry, and we're beholden to that insider trading kind of stuff, because we do know a lot of things that the general public doesn't know. But I don't know if the actual race teams and the riders are obligated. It's strange. It's so new that I don't know it. What I know is just don't make any predictions on anything like that, or say, hey, I think this guy's going to win. I don't do that anyway, but I don't gamble, so I don't even talk about that shit because I just don't know what the rules are, and so the best thing to do is just stay out of it.
Yeah, well said, mate. It's best just to keep the money in the pocket, especially when, yeah, obviously the Tomac one, that was an issue where he was not going to be 100%, but he still fought on. So you definitely wouldn't want to be putting money on him in that one. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. More to come for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Was that a big deal they made of him announcing that he got hurt on Saturday?
Yeah, well, especially when he had the injury, leading up to the race and he rode press day with it. So it was kind of a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, is the industry as a whole making a big stink about that with the betting?
Well, I just heard JT had some comments about it on the podcast, the review podcast he does with Stephen Weege, and he made some pretty good points about it. It's just the transparency and just clarity surrounding it. Obviously, depends what view you have on betting and sports, but I guess in other professional sports, you get a fair bit more clarity with these kind of things, don't you, usually?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's still brand new and everybody's just got to wrap their head around it, man.
Yeah, there'll be teething issues as people adapt to it all, but back to the racing, mate. And I guess Shane McElrath, pretty cool to see him up there, get eighth overall, and it was pretty awesome to see Christian Craig back. Obviously, 12th overall is a solid return, pretty brutal return and a triple crown, but great to see him. Looks pretty happy back on the Yamaha. Fox kit looked great, and he's a really good addition to the class, especially given we've had so many dudes go out through injury. So it's good to get one back, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have Christian out there. He's a great guy, and once he starts to get going, I mean, he was a great 450 rider, and I think he can surprise a few people, especially when we get to the outdoors. I think he's really good outdoors on that 450.
Yeah, you look back, he had some excellent results out there. He was hanging it up there as like, yeah, right, top five every moto, pretty much podium level for sure. So good to see him back. And I guess on to the 250s, Nate Thrasher, mate, had a pretty rough season. Injuries have hindered him, but he's got another win. He keeps getting one a season for the last few, hasn't he, mate? So showed his class. Obviously, he's still that finger's pretty banged up, but deserves a ton of praise, mate, for just fighting on. Didn't win any of the races, but he just kept them consistent, and that'll probably be enough for him to secure another star deal, mate. So hopefully he can end the season strong and really start gaining momentum. You look at him and Hammaker both having the wins in the last couple of rounds, and they've had really great speed. You know, the speed's there, but they've just had injuries and health issues. So if they can avoid the crashes, they could both go on some pretty impressive runs, couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean he's on a sick one, dude. He's impressive, dude. And that Frankenstein finger, dude, that thing gross. I was like, is that thing gonna like die and fall off, dude? It's just gross, dude. But yeah, he's badass, especially down in the southeast. He seems to do pretty well, and the guy's got wicked speed. When he's on, that guy's freaking wicked fast. He's almost like Jordan Smith, you know. When Jordan's on, dude, the guy's just so gnarly looking on the bike. How fast he goes, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy, the speed. And obviously, on the topic of speed, Hammaker obviously won two of those. He was in absolutely elite form, carried the momentum from the last race. Obviously, you know him well, mate. It's really great to see him stringing some results together. And he's still in the title fight, isn't it, mate? He's probably your guy you'd like to see win, isn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to see Seth win the East. And hey, dude, I'm convinced if he didn't tuck the front end on that first race, I think he would have won. I think he would have won on Saturday night. I think he had that in the bag. I mean, look at race 2 and 3. You know, he's just dialed all day, and that move to the Lawrence compound, working with the Lawrence boys, is obviously exactly what he'd need because his results are just. There's a whole new set. This is a Seth Hammaker we've never seen.
Yeah, he's looking great, isn't he? Obviously, you think about that food poisoning in Detroit, he'd be probably leading the championship if that didn't happen, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but hey, it's anybody's game, and there's what still two or another. There's a couple of showdowns left. You know, one is there one more triple crown? No, that was the last triple crown, right? Yeah, we've done 3 triple crowns, so that was the last one, I do believe. And but there's still two more showdowns, so that's a huge points mix up right there. You know, potential. So this is easily still could be Seth's title in the East.
Yeah, it's looking pretty sharp. I guess the title battle. You look at Vialli, he's just so consistent. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He extended the points lead. He just keeps logging those points, doesn't he, mate? He doesn't make those sort of mistakes you see a lot of the other guys make. So pretty hard to beat him, but he obviously will be wanting to get some wins just let him know that he's got that elite speed and got that elite potential. But I suppose championships are better than wins, aren't they, mate? So we'll just keep plugging away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Tom cares how he wins as long as he gets the number one plate in Salt Lake City. I think he'll be happy, you know. But yeah, he's definitely going about it the Tim Ferry route, you know, just kind of plugging away and being Mr. Consistent. But hey, he's a world champion for a reason, you know.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's one less guy to worry about in that title fight after Anstey. Really sad to
Oh, that
see. Obviously,
sucks.
his title hopes are gone, mate. That broken leg, absolutely savage. And listening to Lewis, because he knows him extremely well, he said 6 weeks. They're aiming to be back ready for outdoors. Seems a very quick recovery, but fingers crossed we see him back out there soon, mate, because he's always a great dude to have around, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, great rider, and damn, he had a good season going. But as soon as he hit the ground, I go, he broke his leg. That sucks." Later, man. This season has been gnarly, dude. There's been so many people broke off. I think it's worse than probably the 23 season, dude.
Yeah, it's decimated, isn't it? It's crazy. And like one
Yeah.
guy who's been battling through it is RJ Hampshire, and he's racing really well. He's getting better and better every week, and he'll probably, wanted to win that one. He was in a good position, but yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? He's obviously still battling a lot of things, but you can never count him out in the title race. And like he said, that when the showdown's coming, he'll be looking to make up those huge bank of points on the other guys and just take it home at the end, mate. So your take on RJ?
Oh, you can't count RJ out, dude. Like him and Seth, they're still way into this uh, series, especially as how gnarly the swings have been between races and who's winning. Yeah, I think RJ's probably completely comfortable in the position he's in. You know, maybe after uh, Pittsburgh may in panic mode if he's not up there within a couple points of the red plate, but he's got a few more rounds to go before he has to start shitting bricks.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And you sort of look down the list of that 250. There's some really cool riders as you go further down, you got Daxton Bennick in fifth. His speed was really excellent, especially in the last one. Obviously, Volan sixth, really making great strides. You've obviously done some pretty cool videos with him as well. And then you go down Hymas Park, Hardy Munoz getting ninth. Faulkner, that's a much better result from him, 10th, not where he wants to be or is capable of being, but still looking good. And then Mumford obviously didn't finish the last one, but went 5-4 in the first two, though. Pretty impressive rides in there, mate, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's bagging on Forkner like, oh, he's cooked, dude. The dude freaking had brain surgery, bro. Lucky he's not drooling on himself in the corner, and he just had a kid. I mean, come on, dude. He's improving. I think by next year, barring nothing happens and he stays healthy, he's just got to rebuild, dude. And yeah, I don't know if we've ever had another racer that had brain surgery and came back to race at the professional level. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's freaking gnarly, dude. I mean, the fact that he can even qualify is ridiculous, dude. So yeah, I'm all for Austin being out there, and if he gets last place, I don't care, dude, as long as he's healthy, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just great to see him back out there, mate. And obviously, as we look ahead to Seattle, mate, I guess who are you picking given the conditions? You sort of already gave us a little preview there, but for you personally, mate, it could be a pretty wet and wild weekend, but hopefully the weather clears up for the weekend and the track shapes up the best they can, mate. But it's looking a bit iffy at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I already told you my 450 picks, but um, I don't see the mud being a strong point for Juju growing up in Havasu. That's probably just giving him heartburn thinking about it. I'd almost think you probably look at Deegan. How do you count the guy out? He's just ridiculous right now, and I think rain, snow, mud, whatever. I think he's going to go out there and run at the top with everybody. You know. I
Yeah.
in the other one, Cole Davies. Cole being tall and slender and kind of gnarly dude. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this was Cole's weekend too. I think those conditions probably suit him pretty well.
Yeah, New Zealand's definitely not the driest place, mate. So yeah, it'd be really great to see that racing and that class return to action, mate. And just lastly from you, what's the week ahead looking like? You and the Whiskey Throttle crew are busy pumping out the content. It's been really cool, mate. So give us a quick rundown.
Well, real quick before we go, I want to talk about Jet Reynolds, dude. How shitty was that?
Oh, that's shocking.
So he called me yesterday. He called me. We were shooting the shit, and he was all stoked that he was driving to go to the store or something like that. He got his leg fixed, and he was just happy to be out of the house and going and doing something. And I go, dude, what happened? And he crashed on the outdoor track. And I guess, have you ever walked into the hitch hanging on the back of a truck and just hit your shin and you just like could see colors? It hurts so bad. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I, I guess when he crashed, his leg kind of his shin went across the peg like you kicked a hitch on the back of your truck and it broke his leg, tib fib. And when he told me that, I was just like, oh God, dude. He goes, dude, it hurt. He goes, that sucked. But expecting a pretty quick recovery, he's saying. So he got a rod in his leg. So putting that rod down there, that's kind of the go-to. So he got the Tomac repair. So him and Eli, they got that. And yeah, I just hope he makes it back in time to start the outdoors. But man, that kid just can't catch a break. Fuck.
Yeah, it's shocking, isn't he? He was making some good progress too.
Yeah, he really was. I think he got a top 10 in his last race, right?
Yeah, he was
So,
up there.
yeah, that little shit's tough though, dude. He ain't gonna back down. He'll come back swinging.
Yeah, and he had the
And
sickness through those earlier rounds too, so he's had a rotten one.
yeah, I wonder how Cody Schock's gonna do.
Should do all right.
I think
Experience.
last time he, I think the last time we saw him, he was doing acrobatics, right?
Yes. Daytona.
Yeah, he was doing acrobatics, so maybe he'll show us up and then show how it's done in the mud out there, But Shock's another one we can't forget about. That guy's just on one, dude.
Yeah, going from strength to strength every year, every race, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gamer. But yeah, for Whiskey Throttle, it's It's actually kind of a bummer time. Our filmer Nate, he's going to go back to college, so we're going to lose Nate at the end of the Supercross series. So we're moving forward, and we got a new guy, Ethan, that we brought in, and Nate's going to get him up to speed, and Nate will always still be, part of the clique, but he's gonna go back to college and wants to chase a dream he's got, and good for him. And you know, break in this new kid and buckle up, Junior, because Ethan's gonna have to put up with my shit. So just getting Ethan up to speed this week and get going.
Yeah, mate, exciting times ahead. I'm sure it'll be just the same old content, mate. Those lads will be doing a great job when you're not there for sure, mate. So, yeah, wish Nate all the best. Obviously, he's still got some rounds to go, but yeah, good on him for doing what he wants to do, mate. And any final thoughts from you?
Just pray it stops raining, dude. Just pray it stops raining, dude. I want, if they cancel that race and I have to work on Saturday, I'm gonna be one pain in the ass for everybody I got to deal with. I'm gonna just stay away from me. If you see me out at the plant, if you're listening to this, just stay the hell away from me, dude. I ain't gonna be nice.
Oh, mate, yeah, everyone will be wanting to be about as far away from Australia like I am from you, mate.
Yeah, it'd probably be safer in Australia. If
Nah,
I
well,
don't
good.
get my moto fix, I get a little cranky. The off season's not good for me, dude.
Mate, you have to come to Aussie Supercross next year. Fill the void.
Dude, if I could find somebody to sponsor us to come down, we'd go in a heartbeat, dude. And
Hopefully,
we may be.
someone's.
I think Ping's working on something to where we may come down.
Oh, get amongst it, mate. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I've already booked my trip to Paris Supercross. I mean, I sure as hell hope I get a credential, but if not, me and the wife are going as fans. But
Yeah, no, surely, mate, they'll give you one.
yeah, I'm going to France. So it's gonna be a good time.
Look out, Whiskey Throttle worldwide.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Look out, we coming.
Nah, it's been awesome to chat again, mate. Thanks for taking the time. And obviously, cheers to Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, and Fuchs Silkaleen for all their incredible support, as without them, none of this would be possible. All right, thanks again, Jeff. Been another great chat, mate. All the best in Seattle, and let's pray it stops raining.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.